There was once an ancient mansion at the edge of a forgotten village. No one lived there, for the house was rumored to be cursed. The villagers spoke of strange occurrences, lights flickering at night, eerie sounds echoing through the walls, and a feeling of being watched by something unseen. They said the mansion was haunted by a spirit, an entity so dark that it could drive anyone who dared enter to madness. It all started with a young man named Nathan. He had heard the stories, of course, but he was skeptical. His curiosity got the best of him, and he decided to investigate the mansion for himself. He believed that ghosts were nothing more than myths, and the mansion was just an old, decaying building. Nathan arrived at the mansion at dusk, his heart racing with excitement and fear. As he stepped inside, the door creaked shut behind him, and the air grew thick with an oppressive silence. The walls were lined with old, dusty portraits, their eyes following him as he moved. The floorboards groaned beneath his feet, and the faint smell of mildew filled the air. It felt wrong, as if the house itself was alive, watching him, waiting for him to make the wrong move. As he ventured deeper into the mansion, Nathan began to hear whispers, low and unintelligible at first, but growing louder. He turned, but saw nothing. The whispers seemed to come from the walls themselves, seeping through the cracks. His pulse quickened as the temperature in the room dropped suddenly, and his breath became visible in the cold air. He continued down the hallway, now filled with unease. It felt as if something was following him, just out of sight. He spun around again, but the hallway was empty, save for the flickering light of his candle. And then, in the corner of his eye, he saw it, a shadow. It was tall, darker than the darkness itself, standing just beyond the light. Nathan's heart skipped a beat as he froze in place, staring at the figure. It was humanoid, but there was something wrong about it. Its limbs were too long, its body too thin, and its face was just a blur of blackness. Its eyes, if they could be called eyes, were hollow pits, staring straight into Nathan's soul. The whispers turned into laughter, low, mocking, and cruel. Nathan stumbled backward, unable to tear his gaze away from the figure. He tried to move, but his legs wouldn't obey. His mind screamed for him to run, but his body refused to move. He was paralyzed by fear. Then, the figure stepped closer, its long, clawed fingers reaching for him. As it did, the temperature in the room plummeted, and a cold, deathly chill filled the air. Nathan could feel the life draining from him, as if the very essence of his being was being sucked away. His vision blurred, and the room seemed to distort, bending and twisting in unnatural ways. In a panic, Nathan finally found the strength to run. He bolted down the hallway, but the house seemed to stretch endlessly, the doors he passed leading nowhere. The whispers, now deafening, filled his ears, and the shadows moved with him, as if they were chasing him. The mansion was alive, and it was playing with him. Nathan reached the front door, but as he tried to open it, he realized it was locked. His mind raced as he desperately tried to escape, but the lock wouldn't budge. The figure was getting closer, its breath hot and foul on the back of his neck. He could feel its presence behind him, closing in, and the air around him grew thick with dread. With one final frantic push, the door gave way, and Nathan stumbled into the night. He collapsed on the ground outside, gasping for air, his heart pounding in his chest. The mansion stood silent, its windows dark and empty. But Nathan knew better now. The house was far from empty. It was waiting. As he lay there, too terrified to move, he realized the truth. The mansion didn't just contain a ghost. It was the ghost. The spirit of the house itself, a malevolent entity that consumed anyone foolish enough to enter. And Nathan had become its latest victim.